A very good morning. It's that time again. It's Tuesday and it's all over body exercise day, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Blimey, it's windy. I hope the wind isn't going to affect the recording. It's windy and it's raining, but I'm walking. So I need to pick up a few items on the way. Right, so I will begin. I'm not even sure what time. Bloody hell. I think I need to put my hood up. That's better. Right, so I am not sure what time in the morning. Could have been 2, could have been 3. I wrote a long post on Facebook. And it was mainly to do, I can't remember what it was about because it took in quite a few topics. But the one I'm going to focus on is loneliness, which I guess would fall under the hammer or the bracket of mental illness. And given that I am no expert in the field of mental illness, I will keep my views regarding that to myself. However, as most of you will have seen, I enjoy my own company. Or you may not be able to tell one's enjoyment, but you can see that I go out by myself. And as was the case with the video that I recorded Saturday evening, Monday, I'm chatting about, Saturday night, Sunday morning, coming back from my night out, I was walking by myself. I was offered a lift. The DJ invited me, my friend. I was on a deadline Saturday, but I didn't respond to his message, which I got at 2:30 in the afternoon, until perhaps 5 or 6 hours later, when I had completed what I was doing. And then I just got into the spirit and got myself dressed, and off I went. But I said in the video that it would have been subject to whether I had enough energy or not, to go out and enjoy the music, which I did. Right, so that is how I qualify myself to talk about the topic of loneliness. And some of the things that I am about to say will be regarded as harsh and as condemning. Nevertheless, they are true. So, in the video that I recorded on Saturday going into Sunday, I slammed supposed Christians, and I will come back and slam them even harder once I finish discussing loneliness, which applies to, it doesn't just apply to one section of society, it applies to all. In other words, you don't need to have a religious belief in order to feel lonely. However, I'm going to say this and say it quickly. If you claim to believe in God, I'm going to come back to Jesus in a second. If you claim to believe in God, how on earth can you be lonely? If you're lonely, it is because though you have belief, you don't have relationship. Because if you have a relationship with God, you will never be lonely. And in fact, you would crave solitude so that you can just be alone with God. You wouldn't be craving association with even strangers, for example, on social media, because you would have your relationship with God. Right, so going back now to Jesus, increasingly, my skin crawls when I hear people talking about their relationship with Jesus. Because as far as I know, as far as I understand, at no point did Jesus ever tell anybody to have a relationship with him. And it actually sickens me when I hear pompous people, for example, preachers on YouTube, condemning others who are not saved. I laugh at the idea that Christians, and I say Christians in speech marks because there are all varieties, believe that they are saved. It's like, I said this in the video that I made on the way back Friday night, Saturday morning, shut up Liz, Sunday night, Saturday night, Sunday morning. I said that it actually sickens me when I hear people going on about going to live with Jesus stroke God, because who tells them that God or Jesus wants association with them? And it's like they take glee in condemning others to hell. You could hear it in their voice. I could upload, or rather I could post any video to Facebook, and you listen to them talking, and they are gleeful when they talk about being saved and going to live with Jesus, and others going to burn in hell. They are actually gleeful about it. I'm not quite sure that God has the time of day for that type of person. And furthermore, in the Bible it tells you that the publicans and the harlots are going to get into the kingdom of heaven before these people who trust in their own righteousness. Right, so you've got these types of people out there condemning others, leading others astray. And when I say leading others astray, I'm speaking from the perspective that they set the bar so high. And when I say high, I mean it as sarcastically as sarcastic goes. They set the bar so high that it is on nobody can climb over, can jump over it, barring them. And when I say barring them, I jest. I'm not saying they clear it, because we can go to Luke 18 and see what Jesus had to say about those who trust in their own righteousness. The rich man, thank God I pay my tithing, I fast twice in the week, I do this, that and the other. And meanwhile, you have the poor sinner, as he called himself, saying, beating upon his chest and asking God to have mercy upon him. I would suggest these people go and read the Bible. I really would suggest they go and do that, and they will see what the qualifications are to, if you like, form a relationship, a bond, or even for God, Jesus, to have any liking of an individual. Jesus was constantly slating the scribes and the Pharisees. Matthew 23, check that out. He was always condemning them. They were upright in their behavior, but they were rotten to the core. Right? It didn't have the time of day for them. And so I'm not gonna go on in that too much, because I made videos on a similar theme before. But what I am going to say is that there are a lot of religious people, a lot of Christians who are suffering from various forms of mental illness. how is this possible again if you have a relationship with God? Right? And again, I'm going to suggest that they don't. You cannot possibly have certain types of weaknesses if you believe in God. I mentioned in the post, just by way of example, that yesterday, because I've been going flat out the last few weeks, making curtains, blinds, cushions, just non-stop. And finally, I gave myself a day off yesterday, and I was intending to take today off, but I've got some velvet cushions to make, and and velvet gets all over the place. So even though they're not wanted for a week or so, I think I'm going to clear them from the perspective that I've got time to clean the flat. So I don't want to be in a situation where I've got lots of sewing to do, lots of deadlines, and I've got to find time to clean. So I think I'm going to knock those cushions out today, between today and tomorrow, clean the flat, and then all I've got left to do are blinds and some net curtains. Right, so applying wisdom, if you like. But having said that, I took the day off. I mean, when I finished delivering some cushions yesterday, I got back roughly about 12:30 in the afternoon, and obviously I needed to sort my sister out, and then I set about cleaning the kitchen and cooking. I had some beef there that needed cooking, so while I was washing up, I was in the kitchen, so I was able to attend to, I wasn't having to, like when I'm sewing, get up from the sewing machine to go and check that the food isn't burning kind of thing. I was already in the kitchen, so it wasn't consuming any of my time. And then at last, I was finished. And it was time to relax, and I simply couldn't, because I'm not used to it, because in the post I said that I'm in an environment that basically doubles as a workroom and as a care home. So it's non-stop. I'm in the living room, and in the daytime my sister is in the living room with me. And so whatever she needs, I need to stop sewing and attend to her. And I mean, I mentioned that velvet gets everywhere. Once I finish sewing, that's my bedroom, right? So whatever mess has been created from sewing, if I don't clean that up, then that's a condition. Imagine your bedroom being a workshop, or being surrounded by the kind of mess that you make in an environment where people sew. That is how I've been living for the last 2 years. Sometimes I'm so busy I don't have time to clear everything. Right, so basically what I'm saying is, if anybody should be having like some kind of mental crisis, it should be me, based upon the level of responsibility, the lack of sleep, and so forth, and the living conditions. But why not? I have perfect peace because I have a relationship with God. I am not gonna go too much deeper into this because I think you should have gotten the point. But I'm gonna say, what I find actually with some of these Christians in speech marks, the ones preaching hellfire, they are the Johnny-come-latelys who've been living out there in the world, enjoying the world, living fast if you like, and then they found religion. And then they pick it up and then they're selling it back to people in that forced kind of way. And there is no God in it, there's no spirit. They just latch onto Jesus in the same way that a child clings onto a comfort blanket. They do not love Jesus. They don't have any interest in Jesus beyond the point that they're looking to him to save them so that they can go and live with him someday. But I am not the judge, neither am I the jury, but the relationship that I have with God and the way that I feel about a certain type of believer, again, believer in speech marks, never shall the twain meet. It is not the same thing. And I would be quite happy, wouldn't bother me in the least bit, if such believers, such Christians would turn around and say to me that my relationship is with the devil, it's not with God, because it is by the fruits. In what way? I mean, obviously, it is impossible for people to see an individual's relationship. You know, you might be able to see that a person is happy or something by their demeanor, or sad, or otherwise. But you cannot tell what is going on with an individual and God. The only way you can tell is when they open their mouths. And I do find that the ones who talk the loudest are the ones that have the least relationship. If I wasn't secure in my relationship with God, I wouldn't be publicly going out clubbing and pubbing and whatever else I do that to this strict believer is forbidden. I would be playing the hypocrite and doing these things in secret. Rather, I do them in the open, because I have nothing to hide. God sees all, knows all, understands all. Right, so I am a few paces away from the fitness studio, so I'm going to wind up here, but I hope you can read between the lines as if there is anything that you do not understand, because I haven't made myself clear. I hope I have, but if there are any questions, feel free to tell me, get in contact with me, and I will explain to you exactly why I made the post on Facebook in the early hours. I would have gone outside and done a video, but the wind was howling, and wisdom dictated that I keep my ass right there on the sofa and just let my fingers do the talking. So instead of going out and making the video, I wrote that long post. But there is a reason why I did it, and if you want to know, let me know. Take care, have a nice day, bye-bye.